Hello, everyone. Today it will be an episode in English with Marc. Hello, Marc.
Hello, Melanie.
I'm so happy to have you on my podcast. And it's very funny because I received an email from someone listening to my podcast saying that she saw that we are in contact on Instagram and then asked me if you could come on my podcast to talk about chocolates. So I found it so funny. So I contacted you, and then here we are recording an episode together. So thank you.
Thank you. Such an introduction.
So we will talk about bean to bar chocolate, and I will let you introduce what it is, bean to bar chocolate, because it's very specific. It's not like every chocolate. And you will also introduce you with your background. But yes, let's start from this. So where are you and why you are so into chocolate?
Okay, nice. Thank you for the introduction. Well, I'm based in Germany, and my journey with chocolate started, I think, right at the beginning when I was born or when I was a child. So I was always eating chocolate bars. Every day after every meal, I was going to the at home to the sweet shelf, pulling out the chocolate bars. At that point, it was different chocolate bars than I consume now, but it was the normal supermarket chocolate we all know. So I consumed that every day a lot. And then by the time, um, especially 5 years ago, I founded a startup together with my girlfriend. So we started an online shop where we sold special products from small manufacturers in Portugal. And my dad is originally from Portugal, so there were many products like honey, olive oil, such products. So we imported it and sold it via our online shop. And then it was funny because it was one about Christmas, and we were thinking, well, we need chocolate. But Portugal, as you know, is not known for chocolate bars. I mean, we know Portugal for wine, for Mediterranean cuisine, but not for chocolate bars. So we researched a lot on the internet, and then we found a brand called Feitoria do Cacau. It's a small maker between Lisbon and Porto. And well, we ordered their bars because I've also a bar here today. So it looks quite beautiful, the bars. So we ordered because it looks beautiful. The two women who run the chocolate business were very kind. So we reached out, bought the bars, and when the bars arrived at home, we opened the box, and the smell of cacao that came out of it were like, wow, what's that? And
Mm.
then we tried their bars, and that was how the journey started, basically. Because then we were like from supermarket chocolate, we were into bean to bar chocolate. And we will probably come to this in the next few seconds. But this was a starting point where we started with and getting from normal chocolate bars from the supermarket to chocolate bars outside of the supermarket.
Yes, and maybe my introduction was very fast, but so for the people listening, I'm also into the chocolate world since 2016. This is also why we are talking about bean to bar chocolate. When I was a student, I had the opportunity to work at Salon du Chocolat in Paris. And I started to work with Oyala, which is a Danish brand, uh, like making chocolate from some very specific wild beans from Bolivia. And then I met Frisol, which is a great chocolate maker also in Denmark. And I worked for him like several times these last years. And this is why we know each other.
Shout out to Mikkel.
To Mikkel. And thanks that we saw each other at Salon du Chocolat. We always said hi and how are you? But we never went super deep into conversation. And this is the opportunity of this episode together.
It's
That
such a
was
nice
just
story. Yes.
to put in context too.
Yeah. No, but it's very nice. Like Mikkel were in this case the starting point for our for our
Exactly.
connection. It's very nice.
So please, can you explain what it is bean to bar chocolate?
Sure, I can do that. I try to keep it as simple as possible. So bean to bar chocolate is usually when the chocolate maker who produces a chocolate bar has control over the entire supply chain. So he usually buys the beans directly from the farmer, usually or in the best case, for a fair price. And then he does everything himself. So he roasts the beans, he grind them. So he did everything until the final chocolate bar, and it's a huge project process which happens from the cacao fruit from the beginning till the end. So it needs a lot of knowledge and everything to get really a high quality product in the end. And so the bean to bar maker is usually doing everything, optimizing everything to create the best chocolate bar in the world. Now, supermarket chocolate is different. We have a lot of intermediaries in between. It's not about quality, it's about mass market, it's about usually cheap ingredients so that it's cheap in the end and so that we consume more and more. It's not like to get the best product out there. It's more like to get a product that sells very fast, very cheap. And well, bean to bar chocolate definitely is a product that's an art, you can say, to make a bean to bar chocolate from the beginning till the end. And yeah, to keep it short, it's I would say it's like this.
And I want to add also that when you discover what it is to make chocolate, and as you said, the art of making chocolate, you discover that it's as hard as produce wine. I'm French, so I'm from
Yeah,
France, and I know all the process you need to have to do a great wine and to do and make a great chocolate. It's the same. And I think what we don't have in mind often is that when you go to even a fine chocolatier in a shop, often they had also already received the paste, the couverture,
yeah.
and then they melt it to put it again in bar. So they don't do it from the start, from the bean. And I think that as a consumer, we don't have this in mind.
Definitely, definitely. There's a huge problem. And we even see it nowadays that more and more chocolate brands from the supermarket write on their packaging bean to bar.
Okay.
Because they say like, well, it comes from a bean, yes, and goes to bar. And it's not a term that is protected in a way. So you can call basically every bar bean to bar. But that makes it even more difficult. I think also, especially in the future now, when more and more brands realize, well, we put bean to bar that sells better. So you really need to identify the differences between what's really bean to bar and what is mass market chocolate in the end, or like just melted couverture.
Okay, I never saw like supermarket chocolate or a very like mass market chocolate with the mention of bean to bar, but I think it's great marketing, and if it's not protected, of course, then they can use it. So we have to be especially careful on what we buy.
Definitely, yes. Yeah. So in Germany, we already had that. So I bought for one festival last year in Germany at the Eurobean Festival. I made a talk, and therefore I went to the supermarket and I saw a bar that was just €2 and written nothing about it, but there was written at the beginning bean to bar, and there was like,
Mm.
well, and then you see already that supermarket brands are always also switching now to the bean to bar um, term. So yeah, we need to be even more careful as a consumer. That's totally right.
Okay. And so maybe we can start with how we can find great bean to bar chocolate makers.
How we can find them? Well, we can. I think we have different points. It's not that easy, I know, but one point is for sure the chocolate shows we have, like where you are usually at Salon du Chocolat, one of the biggest in Paris. We have, for example, Chocoa in Amsterdam, also a huge festival. So you can, of course, find festival all over Europe, all over the world, where you can meet a lot of makers. I mean, you have sometimes 50, 60 makers, and you can talk to them. You can try their chocolate bars. That's, I think, the most fun way to discover bean to bar chocolate, because you can try a lot and you can meet the people behind the chocolate brands. But they also, I mean, you can, of course, do your research, go to the internet, buy via online shops. So when you know a maker, usually they ship all over the world sometimes. But as you mentioned, it's not easy. Like you will not find them in a shelf in a supermarket. These chocolate bars are usually in fine food stores sometimes, but it's very difficult to find them actually.
Mm. Yes, yes. It's a bit niche, let's
It's
say.
niche, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I think you have some names in your mind.
For chocolate brands.
Yes, for
Yes.
good ones. And I think also, as you said, to maybe discover them in a fair like Salon du Chocolat in Paris. It's a great way because sometimes we have the taste of chocolate from the bars from the supermarket. And this is also why many people don't like dark chocolate and they only like milk chocolate, because when you don't have a quality bean, then it's bitter, it's not good. And so if you don't mix it with lots of milk, chocolate, and some fats, even though it's not like cocoa or butter, but in Europe they utilize to use like oils from seed oils, unfortunately. And then you discover another world also, because when you can taste great quality chocolate from bean to bar makers, you discover another world of dark chocolate, right?
Definitely. So I can also add to that that I hated dark chocolate when I was like 5 years ago. I could not eat dark chocolate. Everything above 60% was like, I don't like that. It tasted, for me, it tasted horrible. So I didn't eat dark chocolate. And when I found bean to bar chocolate, that changed. And now I love it. I love a 70% dark chocolate bar or 80% dark chocolate bar. But before it was totally unimaginable for me to eat dark chocolate. It was just I hated that. I tried it once from the supermarket and then never again. So well, and that's also because of the quality. I mean, it's like you said, it's like wine, but also like good coffee. It does make a difference if you have really a well produced product in terms of really on quality compared to a cheap product that maybe just focuses on cheap fillers and cheap ingredients.
Mm. And about what is my experience about dark chocolate. So I only like dark chocolate since I'm a child. I never liked milk chocolate. So I was used to dark chocolate and my parents were buying it from an organic shop. And when I started to discover the bean to bar world with very high quality good chocolates from Denmark, I discovered that the one I really liked, it was also from Bolivia. It was an 80 or 85%, but then it was not that aromatic. It was lots of fat. But then when I discovered like Oyala and then Prisol, I discovered that it was full of aroma and yeah, and it was like a real firework in my mouth. And so I brought like 2 bars, and it's true that when you also discover the world of Frisol, which again, it's a chocolate maker from Denmark, he has lots of bars, dark bars from 70% and then a bit above. And then, so it's many origins. They are coming from different countries, but most of them are from Nicaragua. And then you taste like many different samples and you discover the difference of tastes from one another. And they're the same percentage, it's 70%. And you say, okay, wow, it's amazing.
Totally agree with that. So this is also what I love. Like uh, I don't. I host here, for example, together with my girlfriend. We host here in our cacao studio in Germany tastings. So such interesting tastings. For example, a crime format where we try to get people for bean to bar chocolate. So we try to educate them in a fun and entertaining way. And this is also where we like play a lot with flavors and let them discover all the flavor notes that you can find inside these amazing chocolate bars. So people are not aware of that, but when they try once a chocolate bar bean to bar and they then go on this flavor journey, they're like, wow. And that's the fun part, to let people discover what chocolate is actually about.
And so you explain how you came to the bean to bar chocolate word, but So this was the starting point to import chocolate and then discover that, wow, it's super good. And now you're like a real figure in the chocolate world. You know, like many, many chocolatiers. And so, and you talk with them and they know you. So what now is your adventure into this world?
I think the main adventure or the main mission we have right now is basically to educate the consumer, because that's for us the most important thing, to show people that actually we have amazing chocolate bars, but they are not inside the supermarket, they're outside of the supermarket. So we really want to educate people and show them what chocolate is really about, because that was also what was missing for us 5 years ago. So we just randomly and came into bean to bar chocolate. It was not our plan or we searched for that. It was randomly. And so we try to help people to get really the help to get into bean to bar chocolate. And we try to make it in a fun and entertaining way. But as you know, these bars, sometimes they cost 10 years, 15 years. It is way more expensive than the bars we know from the supermarket. But this definitely needs then to be explained, to be shown why is that, why are these bars more expensive, and that's what we try to do. Even though it is difficult to get a consumer from buying a €2 chocolate bar to a €10 chocolate bar, but in the end, there are many people who just didn't know about the fact that there is bean to bar chocolate, and then they are willing to pay the price. But that's our main mission, I would say, to educate really people to get into bean to bar chocolate and to see what chocolate is really about.
Yeah, and I think it also goes with the movement like consume less but consume better.
That's it, yeah.
And what I realized with the good quality chocolate is that often some people can eat like a full bar when they buy cheap chocolate because it's very sugar sweet, full of sugar, and it's a very comfort food. But when you buy a really good, well, for me, dark chocolate from, let's say, Risol, um, just one square, one piece of chocolate is it's already so full of complexity. You just need one.
Yeah,
So yes, you will buy your bar. It's more expensive, but then you consume it differently, and it lasts longer. And there is a real pleasure because you also put some like this bar is precious. It's not the same awareness behind it, the way you consume it.
definitely. Can totally agree with that, because that's also in our case, like when we have such a bar at home, we usually we do not consume it while we need a sugar rush in the middle of the day. We eat it really slowly. Maybe in the evening we share a square and then we go on this flavor journey and we really enjoy the moment. And that's totally different from a supermarket chocolate bar, because when I was a child, what I usually did was going to the shelf, putting out the cheap supermarket chocolate bars, and then what you told me, like eating a whole bar in a night, and then it was
Mhm.
bad for my stomach. Usually I had pain in the stomach afterwards. My parents were angry at me, and I was like, why do I do that? And then a couple of weeks later, this again happened. And it's just like you need just, sugar, fat, and flavor in the right amount to combine. And then you always want more and more. But that's not what really chocolate is about. It's not just
Mm.
about fat, sugar. It's more about really of the chocolate and the cocoa itself and how the bar is made. So
And I think it's also here the difference between like a sweet, which is unhealthy, and also like how chocolate is a superfood.
definitely, yeah.
And it's good for health. You have magnesium, lots of antioxidant, and many like cocoa butter is also good for health. And yes, we have lots of like nutrients in the chocolate, which is interesting in not a big consumption, but when you eat like a piece a day, it's good. But when you eat like supermarket chocolate, which is full of sugar and not good quality fats, etc., then it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
And this is also where it's where you can find the difference between two ways of consumption. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. And it's funny because what I usually do here when we host the tastings is that we start with a 100% dark chocolate from Freeze Home. We start the tasting. And it's very funny to see the faces of the people when they try for the first time a 100% dark chocolate bar. And maybe they were just used to milk chocolate. And then it's very funny to see their face, sometimes shocked, sometimes like, well, not that bad. So there are really different reactions, but it's very funny to see when people actually try craft chocolate, and most of them really appreciate it very fast. So even for me, it was the case because I didn't like dark chocolate, and when I tried it then for the first time, being to bar, I was like, "Well, that tastes very good." And
Yeah.
that's what we need more, like to get people trying it, and then they see for themselves, and then they can decide what's better for them, and how they feel better.
Yes, and then it reminds me that maybe we can explain also how it works with percentages, because for us it's just so obvious. But I remember when I started to work at Salon de Chocolat, I didn't know, and then I also have a lot of question about it when I'm during the fair. So when you have a good quality chocolate, normally you have like three ingredients. You have cocoa butter, and sugar, and sometimes milk. And so 70%, it means that you have like 70% of cocoa mass, and then the rest is sugar. So when you say 100%, it means that you only have cocoa in the bar.
That's it. Yeah.
This is why sometimes it can be bitter. It depends on the bean, of course, used, but it's bitter.
It's bitter, yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely is. And I always, when people try it, I always tell them before, don't wait for the sugar because there's no sugar. There will not come any sugar. So just focus on the cocoa. You can search a long time in a 100% bar for sugar. It will not come.
Yeah.
So it's very funny to see that. And
Yeah, and as you said just right now, is that when you taste 100%, so you taste cocoa in a bar, and the taste of chocolate comes when you add sugar. It's the chocolate and cocoa are different tastes, and because the sugar is the best friend of cocoa, and then
definitely.
it makes chocolate.
Yeah.
And so, what are the main feedbacks you receive from a tasting with Bean to Bar chocolate from your customer?
Oh, I mean, it's very funny because most people love it. So when they come here, I mean, we developed a special crime format. So it's like you do a crime, and you need to solve it as a group, but with your palate. So you need to taste different bars, blind taste them, so you don't know what's inside, and then with the help of your taste, you need to solve a crime in the end. And it's very funny because most people come here and they say, well, I'm very bad at that. I cannot taste anything. I did a wine tasting a couple of years ago. I was so bad. I can't do that. And when they come here, I tell them, well, this tasting is different. I will not stand here and tell you what the flavor notes are. You discover them. So basically, I tell them something about the bar, then they try, and then I listen. So, and then it's very funny because then people really go on this journey for themselves. They tell me, wow, this bar tastes like raspberry, or this bar tastes like citrus, or both. And that's very funny. And then people later, sometimes they solve the crime and they are like, well, I didn't know that I'm that good at tasting chocolate bars, and they love it. And then that's also what makes me happy in the end, because I always tell people, even if you don't solve the crime, I'm very happy when you get out the flavor notes of each chocolate bar, because that's for me the important part, that you really feel like that's different. That's a different chocolate bar than I used to eat before. And the biggest feedback, or one of the biggest and feedback and most happy one, was some customers last week. Some guests, they came, and now afterwards they bought tickets for Amsterdam because they want to go to the festival there. And I was like, okay, then really appreciated that, because I mean that motivated them even to dive deeper into bean to bar chocolate, and that the most positive feedback I think we could get in all the time. So that was really like,
It's amazing.
that's amazing. So when people then decide to go to the festivals, because that's the next step usually you do when you then want to dive deeper, and that was very nice to hear.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you enable in a way an introduction into this world. And I think this is like the first step, and it's so interesting.
Definitely. Yeah, it's, I mean, it's not easy because when you go here in Germany and you would say, well, we do a chocolate tasting, I think you will barely sell any tickets because a chocolate tasting is like people have presumptions about chocolate tastings or tastings in general, so they will not come. But when you do it and combine it with a fun, entertaining format, then you get the people first, and then you let them discover the chocolate bars. And then usually the feedback is then amazing because people didn't expect that. They learn a lot, they go out, and now they know. And sometimes, I mean, sometimes even people come to me and say, "Well, what did you do to me? Now I cannot eat supermarket chocolate anymore." I'm like, "Sorry for that." No, but it's very funny, and it makes a lot of fun to educate people for bean to bar chocolate and for these high quality products.
Yes, but I see how some people can think about the tasting as something just for connoisseur and for people just between themselves and tasting things and already knowing things. Like in France, we have lots of wine tastings, but it's often just people knowing already about wine. And so some people not doing anything can be a bit afraid to go into these events. So it's great that you bring some fun to also attract them, and just it's a discovery.
Definitely, yeah. And that's what also when I mean, we started with my girlfriend. We started to also visit some tastings, and it was always like there was something missing for the entertaining part because we also were in this point when you're like, well, they all know everything and we not, and then you don't feel comfortable sometimes to get into these tastings. So Giuseppina and me, so we sat there a long time thinking about what kind of format would work and really get people into craft chocolate. And then after a month, we tried it out first. The first events were sold out, and we're like, okay, we need to do more of that. And there was a starting point actually, and now we have a lot of tastings, even in Amsterdam, in a couple of weeks. It's very fun and nice to see that you get people then into craft chocolate, and you can enable them, like you said, to get into this special world.
We should create an event in France.
Why not? Totally open for that.
Well, if some listeners are French and would like that to happen in like your crime tasting, and would like to just participate to this event, like maybe we could do something in Paris, it would be super fun. So
Why
if
not?
you are listeners and you want to participate to that and that we create that, please tell us and we will.
I can also speak a little bit French.
That's true.
Seulement un peu.
I know that you brought some bars to shows, like maybe your favorite bars. So could you introduce them?
Yes, sure, sure. So, I mean, when people ask me, this usually comes in a tasting, the question, "What are your favorite chocolate bars?" And I'm like, well, I personally I don't like that question because it's like this changes a lot, and it always depends. Like some days I'm more into dark chocolate, some days more into milk. Sometimes I want some special inclusions, maybe with other high quality ingredients inside. So this really depends. So what I'm showing you now is just like maybe my daily from the last days what I liked, but I have it here. So for example, this bar which I already showed you at the beginning, it's from the chocolate maker where everything started with. Feitoria do Cacao. It was the first, I think the first 72% dark chocolate which I liked in my life. So it's just like, in case here, we just have as ingredients cacao beans, sugar, and cacao butter. And it's with beans from Peru, Marañón, a special region in Peru. And this chocolate bar just were for me like the awakening for dark chocolate, that it can taste actually good. So there was a starting point, and shout out to Tomoko and Sue from Feitoria do Cacao when they see the video or not. No, because there was it's really a very nice chocolate bar, has notes of toffee, nuts, and it's really nice to enjoy that. 72%.
I have
Yeah,
a question because I'm going to Portugal in May. They are in Lisboa or Porto
they are
or
between Lisbon and Porto in
okay.
Aveiro. In Aveiro, yeah, it's a small town, but it's a
Okay.
beautiful town. So
Okay.
if you have the chance to go there, um, you have to go there. Otherwise, they also sell in parts of Porto and Lisbon. So it's
Okay.
also sold in some specialty stores there. So.
I will look at it.
And then of course, I mean, this one is like shout out to Mikkel. No, but this is 68% also dark chocolate bar, Opajo. And it's also really nice. I mean, Mikkel's bars for me, they always taste a lot of chocolate. You get a lot of chocolate notes. It's always very chocolatey. And then you have here some citrus notes, and it's a very nice dark chocolate bar. You probably know it. And
I know it, and it's also from a forest. So this one is like a wild forest, and it's in Opayo. It's an organic one. It's an organic bean,
yeah.
and it's like remote, and it's very fruity. It's so interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have the matching drinking chocolate for that. So he also has a drinking chocolate with
Oh,
Opajo.
okay.
Then you can combine that, and that's an explosion in flavor. But that's
And
another
what?
thing.
So no, but I'm interested. What is your pairing? Your perfect pairing with this one?
For this one, I love to try it with Mikkel's Opajo drinking chocolate. So Mikkel has also an Opajo drinking chocolate.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. To melt it into milk.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah,
with
yeah,
water.
yeah, of
I mean,
course.
you can do both, but there was like then your flavor explosion. You have both time Opajo, and it's like, but you need to be
Great
careful
idea.
how much cacao you want to consume in such a small time because drinking chocolate here, that can sometimes be a lot, but for me, that's fine.
You're a chocolate lover.
I'm a chocolate lover. No, and then the last bar which I bought here, it's like from the Netherlands, from a band called Heine Dwerre. And
I
this is
never heard about it.
never heard about it. Okay.
Nope.
So they are making bean to bar chocolates in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. And this is a wild dark milk chocolate. And it's very nice. It's with beans from Papua New Guinea.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's wild cacao, but it's very, in terms of creaminess, it's so creamy and has a lot of notes like vanilla, banana, also a slightly spicy note in the end. It's very nice. It's a very nice milk chocolate. And even though there's just beans and milk, people, when I let them discover this milk chocolate, they always get a lot of notes out of that, and that's what we want to achieve. So in the end, it's a milk chocolate, but you get a lot of flavor notes out of this milk chocolate. So
Okay, then even though it's milk chocolate, I have to try it.
you have to try it. Yeah, yeah, it's like this.
No,
I'm
but even the origin is super rare.
super well.
It's
Yeah,
niche, like.
it's very nice. And then they work just with local ingredients, so it's just Dutch cow milk, Dutch beet sugar. So it's local, but then also, I mean, cacao terms global, and it's
Okay.
a very nice bar.
And do you have like any other brands that you really like or that you would like to some people to discover them?
I mean, for me, I'm like the ambassador always for them because
Of
I feel
course.
like without them we would probably not have this podcast. We would probably have never met. So Feitoria do Cacao is always it was my starting point, and that's also what I try people to show. Like you can start with Feitoria for sure, but there are many other brands like Mikkel is amazing. Um, I don't know. I can tell you. I think a list of 100 craft chocolate makers around
Okay.
the world,
It
and
can be long.
I won't do that. But they are really like you have chocolate tree in Scotland. You have I don't know. You have so many brands out there, and yeah, you just need to do a bit of research sometimes to get into this craft chocolate world. But once you are in, you really see very fast what's there and what's going on, and then you can discover very fast the craft chocolate bars which are out there.
Yeah, yeah, and I think every country now has its own bean to bar chocolate makers. In France, we have Morin, Bonnat, Pralu, which are like the big emblematic brands, but you also have like a more niche. I'm just Encuentro.
Yeah, incredible.
Um, Let me think.
Yeah,
Uh,
you
I,
also have a whole association now. Like there's Bean to Bar France Association. I don't
okay.
know that. Shout out to them. But no, there's a whole Bean to Bar Association now for France. And you can go on their website and then you can see Encuentro and all the makers
Ah.
which belong to them. And that's maybe the most easiest way when you are based, for example, in a country like France, to find the most newest chocolate maker for you to discover Bean to Bar chocolates.
Oh, that's amazing. I will put the link then in the description of this episode so that the people can just click on it and then discover all the brands and discover the wonderful world of bean to bar chocolate.
Yeah, it's nice that I mean we have more and more Bean to Bar Association now. We have also one in Portugal, in France, also one now for Europe. So let's see where this will go. And
Well, thank you so much. I think we have talked about lots of aspects on chocolate and bean to bar chocolates. And do you have some conclusion or something you want to say to the listeners to add?
well, I think don't stress yourself when you want to really discover these craft chocolate bars. It's the best way to do it in the most natural and fun way, which fits for you. So you just need to force yourself buying a dark chocolate bar and happening to have like that you love it. But it's like when you have the chance, like for example, there's an event happening within your area or you have a maker within your area, just go there or visit them, try it out, and then you can see for yourself, like if you like it or not. You can see the differences in supermarket chocolate and these kind of chocolate bars. But I think this way always should be fun for everyone and also for us as consumers. So yeah, I think chocolate should be fun in a way, and eating chocolate bars should not be something we should be worried about, but something we want to enjoy and really love. So yeah, go on this fun journey and discover bean to bar chocolates.
That's a great conclusion. Yes, just to focus on pleasure.
That's it. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Melanie.